Hey Ellie, thank you so much for joining me here today. So good to have you here.
No worries. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Excellent. So I just wanted to speak to you a little bit about the process that we've been introduced to, and that has been making great changes for us individually and collectively, since we're a part of this beautiful sisterhood. So yeah, just to get the word out there so women start to recognize and see, what this is actually doing for ladies out there, and how much our lives are changing through doing this process. So, the first question I would love to ask you is, how were you introduced to this method?
So I was introduced by a lovely lady who was my personal trainer at the time. I actually met her through, we both did NLP training.
Mhm.
And so we both completed our NLP training as practitioners. I started seeing her as a PT because I brought up during that training that one of my goals is to be healthy and fit. She's like, "You coming to see me?" I was like, "Okay, yes." And so after she got introduced, I'm not sure how she found out about it, but she went through the training. And the funny thing was is that she actually in a PT session was telling me about it, and she just told me her experience of having the actual session on herself and then doing that closing as well. And just she's very expressive, and just the way she shared, she didn't even talk about the process or all the nitty-gritty behind the scenes, just how she felt in that experience in that moment. And that's kind of all I needed to know to be like, you know what, I think, because I know for me on a personal level, I'm definitely looking just a lot of like that professional development on a personal development level. Personal development on an individual level and a professional level. And so I think NLP absolutely love, and there's a lot of practical, I think, like strategies and different things to do in certain situations. But the way she described her experience with Creatrix definitely felt more aligned with just my how I work and mindset and things like that. And so I didn't really look into it too much, and I kind of just joined the training very last minute. So I got in towards the, I think after the general, everyone else had signed up. And yeah, so I kind of came in not knowing too much about it, to be honest. I just kind of had a gut feeling, was like, yep, cool. What I know of this so far sounds right, feels right. So I just went for it. Yeah, so that's kind of how I got introduced to it.
Yeah, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Lots of trust in your personal trainer there.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, trust in her, and then just the way she expressed it definitely just resonated. And yeah, and so I just went for it.
Good on you. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. So, what were you actually struggling with? What made you go for it?
That's an interesting question, because I think for me on a personal level, consciously I was is not so much about something I was struggling with so much. It was more I was, especially now, still in a place of just very keen and hungry for lots of just learning and growth as well. More, and I saw it as just a huge opportunity for learning and growth on an individual level. And
Mhm.
I think I didn't even realize what it would be able to help me out with, to be honest.
Mm.
And so in hindsight, like now I know the changes that I think I can see I've gained from it. But at that time, I think for me, I was more open to say, this is something I never heard about. The way that it's done is a way I've never heard about as well. So I want to experience it and see what I'll come from it. So for me, I didn't really come in saying, oh, this is a real big struggle in my life. This is something I want to address. So that, I guess, is a little bit different for me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're already on that personal development journey. So, yeah, yeah. More tools for our toolkit. And
Yeah, yeah. And to
that's,
experience something different, I think the way yeah, just the whole process is so unique, and it definitely yeah, just working with the mind, and even the whole how it's female specific and works with
Mhm.
that knowledge of the uterus as well, and the
Mm.
creator, all that kind of stuff resonated with me a lot. So I was more just coming in with curiosity, I think, and knowing that whatever I gain from it will be a benefit, and we'll see where it goes from there, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. And so, what has been like the biggest change for you since doing it?
I think for myself, definitely a lot of the internal feeling of groundedness, I would say. My personality already is quite an extroverted, loud, bubbly, excitable personality, and that hasn't really changed since before and after. But I think within myself, I just yeah, a more sense of groundedness is the best way I can describe it. More sense of assurity in myself as well. I think I've had a lot of I've had a lot of comments, especially you never used to be on my mind, but once I started working, there were a lot of comments about, oh, you're so young, oh, you got the rest of your life. Oh, you just, you're young, you don't even know. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, but realizing, oh, I'm still in the same work as you guys, are in the same, intense space. And like, I recognize I'm young, but what does that mean when you say that? Like, I'm also old enough to, you know, be a person of like, what does that really mean? And I think, so that almost kind of started taking that in a little bit of like, oh, well, I'm just so young. I don't, who knows? I know a lot, but also I don't know a lot. But I think that's a healthy mindset to have, but it doesn't matter about your age.
Yeah.
It's about, what you're open to in those learnings. There's always time for learning and growth. And so, yeah, sorry, I kind of went on a what changes came from it. I was like, what question am I answering again?
It's what us ladies do best. Get caught up in the moment.
Oh my God, in the storytelling. But yeah,
Yes.
it's so, but in terms of more feeling, the change is definitely feeling more grounded and that assuredness, and also feeling more connected. Because I'm not religious. I don't follow a certain religion or anything, but I definitely align with the spiritual aspect of that creator and something, an energy source that we all come from that's greater than ourselves, that we can gain so much, like, I think the limitless potential from. And it was almost regrounding to that. And I think the best way, and I think I've heard others describe it this way within Creatrix, but almost like, it's just, you are always you, but it almost like washes away the grime and muck of just like living everyday life and the other people's perspectives and things. And that's, to me, I really resonate with that description of like, yeah, it's always me, but I just kind of took the filter of, taking on too many other perspectives and opinions that, weren't, actually really aligning with who I was. And now I can sit in that space. And actually, there's a book I've read where the phrase is so perfect, I think, describes where it talks about detached involvement. So it's like being involved and present in a space, but not always having that attachment to everything, and kind of being able to be in a space and experience things, but not be attached to the outcome necessarily, or attached to, it has to work out this way, and this is the best way to do it, or that type of thing. And that, I think Creatrix has helped me a lot with that of, okay, this is not kind of how it worked out, but it's what's the opportunity in this? And I kind of had that mindset before, but it definitely helped strengthen that, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And so who else has noticed the changes within you?
That's a funny question to actually think about, because I think growing up, I've always kind of been the personality where I've been pretty independent, assertive, and somewhat, usually generally prepared. I'm the one they call the mom bag, that has everything in it, So I think in terms of others' perspectives of me, I don't think I've not had comments of like, oh wow, Ellie, like you've changed, or like you're so much calmer now, because I think I was never, my extreme sides are always the excitable thing, which is just exactly the same. So from that side, they're like, okay, cool, that's you anyways.
Yeah.
And I think the changes that I have experienced, they are that more deeper level. And so I can feel it and I can recognize internally, but from others, especially not seeing, they all seem in different contexts, at home or at work. And I think if someone were to see across the spectrum, they might be like, oh, you were this way before, but now you're this. But I think, no one's really commented specifically, I think, on that. But yeah, because I think I'm generally, pretty independent and pretty, on top of general life things. And so from the outside, they probably see me as someone who is, just a bit organized or whatever, even if internally it's frazzled,
Yeah.
But now I feel like the internal definitely feels more aligned with the external as well. But yeah, no major comments, which that's an interesting one. So I think no major external changes in my general personality or behavior and stuff. But yeah,
and
I
it's
think
so subtle sometimes anyway, that it is more of an internal feeling that only we get to experience. So it's not always visible to others.
Totally. And I think especially I can imagine for some people who maybe had extreme like reactions or those responses to certain situations. You could see, oh, I no longer respond to this, or now I was not really able to do these type of things, but now I can. And I
Uh-huh.
think for myself personally, I didn't have anything specifically like that. So from that outside, which I realized with Creatrix, it's so important to do that tracking and really, you know, to that those comparisons too, so you can see like, oh damn, there has been massive changes.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
but yeah, no, definitely. And I think actually maybe not from external, but another thing internal, I would say is probably engaging with my family. Because, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
think the people closest to you are always the ones who can kind of, I feel like, hit your biggest trigger points, you know, because they're those safe people for you and they know you best too. And oh my goodness, how I sit in that space, especially with my parents, I feel just so much more calm and chill in that space. And it's like, you know, still have your stressful times sometimes, but that I think for myself, I've noticed is the biggest change for sure, which I think that has that ripple effect, you know, because for others, strangers or friends, it's not as the same as if that, you know, family. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, that's been a massive change that is, you know, invaluable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Brilliant. Okay, so for those ladies out there who are thinking this is too good to be true, what words would you have to say to them?
I would say, I think something that Creatrix makes me think of a lot is when they say, and I used to be a believer of this too, of change takes time, change is slow, you know, change takes a lot of time, a lot of work, all that type of stuff. And then what has been so empowering for me with Creatrix is realizing it doesn't have to be that way. And it
Mm,
actually, and when you really think of, there's all the actual physics and the scientific backing of how your brain neurology, and how you even that epigenetics of that intergenerational traumas or experiences or, you know, developed responses to things. Like when you really learn about how the human body works, a lot of the time it's not actually what you think it is. You know, health and your mind, and it's like it's so the brain as well is just so incredible. And so you realize that, okay, yeah, if you can, I think it's not about time, it's about experiences. And sometimes you could have 1 week where all the most different experiences happen, all these people, and that could change you even one day. Or you can have 10 years where you kind of are pretty consistent, doing the same thing, knowing the
mm,
same people, and maybe your growth and change is not so big. So
mhm,
to me, I think, yeah, if you believe that change is slow and takes time, that's the first thing that I think you should question that and challenge that about your own thinking. Because I know for me, that was a big thing. And it's almost an excuse, I would say, you know, a
mm,
little bit. Things do take time, and do things, you know, time is a part of life that you got, you know, you can't speed the clock up. But yeah, I think if you're truly motivated, like the human mind and body are able to do incredible, incredible things. And it's not magic, it's just biology, I think. And so Creatrix definitely works on that and the grounding of that scientific background, for those who are interested in learning more and getting into that nitty-gritty. But the truth is you don't even need to understand that to be for it to work.
mm,
And that's what I think is amazing as well. And even I think it might have been Maz who brought up this example, I'm not sure, but talking about like if you're going to go to a doctor and you find the best specialist who, you know, a surgeon, right? You're not going to say like, okay, how do you, you know, talk me through every single step you're going to do and how does it work? And, you know, it's about what outcome are they going to get you?
mm,
Can it help you or not? And so with Creatrix, it does help and it can help. And so if you really want to know all the nitty gritty, then do the facilitator training and you'll learn
yeah,
it, you know?
yeah.
Otherwise, if you just want to get outcomes, just give it a go and see for yourself.
Mm,
And I definitely, yeah. And I know even the main person who I connected with from my training, who we've done a lot of work together. I remember I had to Creatrix on her. Creatrix doesn't work on me because, you know,
uh-huh,
you're doing that work for a bit and it's so subtle that you almost, you know, and it's not like it's a like, and that's the thing with life is you're not getting rid of emotions. You're not getting rid of being human. You're still going to feel a bit stressed or you're going to have emotions. So it's
mhm,
about what is that communicating with you? Is it relevant for this situation, or is it holding you back from being able to make the most of it? And that's when, you know, Creatrix can help with that. And when you sit in that space and realize like that detached involvement type of thing, you can be present and you can be a part of it, but doesn't mean you have to be pulled all around by the external factors as well.
mm,
And now my friend, she praises it, and it's just created the biggest changes for her. Especially with the new reset packages, that was a big game changer, because we're kind of just almost like a whack-a-mole, like not very purposeful with the things that we were crate-fixing.
Yeah.
But the reset packages, it's so structured that you
Yes.
focus in that reflection. So yeah, 100% you'll get outcomes and what she's got it. And she was pregnant at the time. So it's like, oh, so special. So yeah, if you have questions, yeah, just give it a go and see for yourself, because, and I think if the testimonials don't convince you, yeah, then experience it. But it's all about your mindset and being open to it. And yeah, if you come in saying this is not going to work for you, then probably it won't work for you. Not because
absolutely.
the process
Yes.
doesn't work, but because, you know, you got to be willing to just follow the instructions and let, you know, give a bit of trust to the facilitator. Yeah.
100%. And the reset packages that Ellie's speaking about now is the self-esteem package and the emotional regulation package and a stress package. So all of us ladies, to some level, have some of this going on, or all of this going on. So very, very beneficial work for us to experience for ourselves, to just free us from all of the topics underneath these 3 issues.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so just the final question, if you could say one thing to ladies out there that are starting to get curious about Creatrix, what would you like to communicate to them?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. It's like, I feel like there's so many metaphors coming to my brain right now. I feel like that's the best way. It's like, you know, you gotta, you know, and I think especially it's strong with women and mothers, carers, generally, but it's like, you gotta be able to look after yourself and you know, water your own, look after your own backyard, water your own plants first so that you can grow and flourish. And then what you can give is endless, limitless. But if you have nothing to give, then that affects you and the people around you. But if you focus on yourself and you realize, you know, yeah, that's really it. You grow your own plants, your own seeds, and nature, look at nature. If you look after it, it is abundance. You know, it's not that we have to be scared of losing it all. Because if you look after it well and you nourish that, yeah, it just will create like limitless potential, really. I truly believe that. And this is just one of many tools that I think can definitely continue to push you in that direction for sure.
Beautiful. So nourish self first.
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate connecting with you and getting the word out there to ladies that are curious. So yeah, appreciate your time. Thank you. And so nice to connect with you.
Thank you. No worries. Yes.
Thanks.
Same to you.
Bye.
Bye.